It's Super Videos back at you for another video. This is going to be my episode predictions for Season 7, Episode 3 of The Walking Dead, which is going to be called The Cell. So I'm going to read the synopsis first and then give my predictions about what I think is going to happen. So the synopsis reads, we are introduced to a completely new group of survivors living in an impressive community that seems to have it all for a price. So from the promo and also from the description and the pictures we got for this episode, it's evident that this episode is going to be a sanctuary-centric episode. And for people who don't know, the sanctuary is basically Negan's community. When they're saying we're introduced to a completely new group of survivors, they're probably talking about the saviors. And in an impressive community, the community is definitely the sanctuary. And they seem to have it all. They seem to have a system, but there's a price, and the price is that they have Negan as the leader, who is kind of like an equivalent of a dictator in that world. Now, I think we're probably going to start with a POV shot of Daryl. That's what they've been using a lot this season, and I think it's going to be the same way. We're going to see a POV shot of Daryl, and I think he's going to be inside one of the cells at the sanctuary he is being kept in. Now, of course, they could pick up exactly where they left off with Negan taking Daryl back to the sanctuary, capturing him. But I have a gut feeling that we're going to be starting at the sanctuary with Daryl's POV shot. But I think most of this episode is going to be basically focused on introducing us to this new community, which is the sanctuary, telling us a bit about Negan's way of leading and how he treats his people and the system he has going on at his community. The other thing that we're probably going to get to see is the whole structure of the sanctuary, how it is, and getting to see these walker alarm systems that Negan and the Saviors have around the perimeter of the sanctuary and basically how it operates. And we're definitely getting some more information about Dwight, who he is as a character, an in-depth look into his life and basically what motivates him to do the things he does. And I'm hoping we're going to see what made him change from the person we first saw at the beginning of Season 6. If you remember, he first encountered Daryl there and stole his bike and crossbow. So I'm interested to see what kind of made him change from that into what he is today. They're going to spend some time telling us, what caused him to do that. And if you're a comic reader, you kind of know what happened there, but to see it on screen, I think it's definitely necessary, not just for non-comic readers to understand, but for comic readers as well, because we want to see it come to life. And along the same lines, we're going to see how Negan treats Dwight, and same goes with Daryl, how Negan treats Daryl, who is captured there, and how does Dwight treat Negan. Does he treat him as his leader? Does he follow his orders? And what's the relationship between Negan and Dwight? As well, we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of interactions between Dwight and Daryl. And basically seeing the two kind of interact and share their life with each other. I think that's going to be a big part of this episode and moving their story forward, both Daryl and Dwight. Of course, there's this rivalry between them, but I'm hoping they'll spend some more time exploring the relationship between these two and having them share their life together. Perhaps a moment of honesty and being truthful to one another. Also, a lot of this episode is probably going to be centered around Daryl. Basically what they do to him as a prisoner, if he's going to be tortured, if they're going to try to break him or anything like that. And along the same lines, how Daryl is coping with the events of the premiere of Season 7, both with Glenn and Abraham's death. With Glenn's death even more, because he was the one that caused that death. I'm interested to see if that's going to have a big effect on his character in this episode, and I'm definitely thinking it will. And not just this episode, but going forward. But other than that, I don't think we're going to be checking back on the Kingdom or Alexandria or the Hilltop. In this episode, I think it's going to be just focused on the Sanctuary, similar to previous episode, which was just the Kingdom. But that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll be back for another video.